Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello.
I would hate to be a fly on your wall, because...
You would hate to be a fly on my wall, because if I get the chance, I'm going to smash it. There is a fly on my wall. We just mentioned before I started recording, and it's gone now, actually. So if it comes up mid-episode, if you hear me sort of break off in concentration and start hearing the sounds of me smacking things against the walls, then you know what's happened.
Either you've gone insane or you've started, attacking a
It absolutely could
fly.
be either of those things.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of those days.
What are we doing?
Playing some click pitch, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Which is
How
fun.
novel?
It's novel. We haven't done that for a little while. just
Not
kidding.
since
last week. So, click pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We're going to go on our damn bloody random word generator and get a random noun, I suppose. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing right now.
Nouns. I don't know. Some sort of word
Some
structure.
sort of word. And we'll take those words, give them to each other, hand them like a nice word present, and we'll use those two word presents to inspire us. And if we don't get inspired enough, then we say, "Yep, okay, that's
We
it."
re-gift them.
We re-gift new ones.
Well, we re-gift those words just to really stretch the metaphor. We re-gift those words to a different podcast. Someone else can have those words.
Yes,
And then we ask for more gifts from each other.
definitely. Okay,
3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, gift. Instrument.
Dislocation.
Okay. Instrument dislocation. So I think... Ooh. What if this is a game where you've got to rush a band member to hospital?
Okay.
Or, not, it doesn't even have to be a band member. It could just be band adjacent, like a roadie or something like that.
Okay, so sort of traditional rock band style setup.
Yeah.
As in, like, not the game. they really screwed things up by calling it a game rock band.
So you've got, in order to drive, you've got, like, plastic instruments.
Okay, so you got to rush your band member to hospital.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Jumping off of that, instead of going the rock band route, though,
Okay.
what if it's like a marching band?
Ooh.
And you have to march them to hospital. So part of it is play. You have to, like, because people will get out of your way if they see the marching band coming. So it's actually going to be the quickest way.
So it's kind of Pikmin-esque.
Yeah, maybe.
Like you're the band leader in front. You're leading all the Pikmin slash marching.
But I like the idea of maybe that different drum beats or something will give different orders to the rest of your band members.
Oh, definitely.
Like different formations to clear things or get out of the way of things.
Well, we know that the band leader has to mean something. I mean, he's literally the band leader, and he doesn't even look at the people, and they know exactly what to do because they see him out in front. So I think what you actually have is one of your people, and it can be a random member has dislocated their arm.
Yep.
So maybe this time you're not going to get the timpani or whatever one of the drums are, and this time you're not going to get a tuba player or however it ends up working out. What you do have though is you've got a plastic instrument at the front, and it's all about the band leader. So you're basically. So
you mean you physically have a plastic?
You
instrument?
physically have.
We utilize rock band instruments or something.
But whether that is because, I mean, a band leader, all he does is, have like this massive staff and he's sort of like putting it up and putting it down on the ground.
Oh, well, maybe it's like a Nintendo Switch game and you've just got the Joy-Con in your hand. You're like lifting the staff and you have to do it in time.
Yeah, and you're really feeling those ice cubes.
Yeah, definitely. Good old HD rumble.
It's the only joke that we ever do. I had to say.
I mean, it could be that's sort of moving into like Let's Dance territory but it's marching band version of Let's Dance.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what are some of the obstacles?
I mean, traffic. Other parades and marching bands.
100%. What about sinkholes?
Definitely. You know, if you've got a lot of people drumming and stuff in one spot, that's going to create vibrations that will definitely just
open sinkholes all over the place. Yeah. And then it's kind of like Pac-Man, but it's sort of like, oh, this is areas that you can't go into because, you know, ghosts are obviously here.
Well, I'm sort of feeling things like... I'm just going to ride right past that. That you... like that your band members listen to you so carefully that they will just walk into a sinkhole if you have not given them the right instruction.
Oh, yeah, they're like lemmings.
Yeah, basically. So you're doing things like, whether you are playing drums or whether you've got a staff or whatever, you're telling them, like, you do a certain beat and they all shift over to the right, you know, and they have to sort of jam in there and they'll dodge that sinkhole. But then up, you know, there's parked cars coming up and they will just go over the parked cars, but, you know, you also lose points for causing property damage.
Yeah, but if you can weave in between them, all that style points. That's style points, and that's where the multiplier really goes up.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously there's got to be some rules around how you can make people go left, how you can make people go right. How do we make this more interesting? Does it become like one of those damn like running, you know, endless runners where you know, you get into a certain section of the game and it's like, oh, things are speeding up now, and now it's like it's a quick sort of thing of, now we're going to turn to the left. How do we turn to the left? Well, you know, have to double tap the instrument down to the ground, and then keep the beat going.
Maybe we speed it up, and by the end you're basically doing Beat Saber.
Yeah,
just
with one arm.
With one arm, spinning, you know, throwing it up in the air and catching it. But all of those, you know, mean things like, you know, go over the bridge, not under it, to go to the left to dodge that sinkhole.
Yeah.
But they're coming at you so fast.
You know, then obviously you're whipping out, you know, the proto pack so that you can fight all the Ghostbuster style. Yeah. All the really cool stuff.
All the cool stuff the band leaders do.
Yeah. Obviously power pills, that's very important as well. So when he picks it up, he goes waka 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 waka.
Fozzie Bear's there.
Yeah, Fozzie Bear's there as well. Doing bad jokes.
It's the Muppet. It's actually the Muppet. It's the what is it, Dr. Teeth and the
Electric.
What's the
Mayhem?
Muppet band? The Electric Mayhem. Yeah, that's actually your band. We didn't tell you that from the beginning.
Yeah, but they're now a marching band, and you didn't realize it because you're like, all you see is a hand, but it's like it's just the hand that controls the puppet. Like,
yeah. When you look closely, your hand has a stick attached to it.
It looks human, and then you look down, and there's a
you
Muppet
look down,
there.
you don't have legs.
There's a Muppet there controlling your arm.
There's a Muppet controlling your human arm. Alright, 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go. Betrothal.
Mount. So
Mount Betrothal is a mountain.
Okay, I was going to just say that you know how Steam has like the adult games. This is one of those. It's wedding night simulator.
Choose your wedding dress. Choose your tuxedo. You never actually see it on their bodies. It's just what's strewn across
the floor.
The floor.
Okay.
And that's funnily enough, that's the only customization. Everything else is randomized. No,
I like your idea about the Mount Betrothal.
Yeah, Mount Betrothal. Anyone there's one day of the year where people can get married, and everyone who wants to get married, they all
trek up the mountain,
up Mount Betrothal, and at the top
there's a cabin. Cabin in the
Sure.
mountain. Yep.
Okay. How big's this cabin?
I mean, big enough to have a fair few couples go through, but it's first in, first serve. Like, you can't kind of, like, it can be the person getting married one and person getting married two. I'm not going to say bride and groom. It's just person getting married one and person two, and witnesses.
Spouse one? No, I don't know.
Spouse
to be,
two.
spouses to be.
Fiance one, fiance two. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess. Do you pronounce them differently? They are spelled differently based on the gender, I think.
You heard the inflection.
You hear whatever reflection you want.
Exactly. And witnesses. Obviously, there's 2 witnesses per thing, and then basically it's
per thing. So you have to lug lug your mates up this mountain as well to witness. You can't just be one set of witnesses for all the marriages.
No. Because you need to personally know them, and they need to know you because
because you could be defrauding someone somehow.
So. You remember the Japanese game show Takeshi's Castle?
No.
Basically Fall Guys. But it's going up this mountain. And it's all these mini games, so that basically there's lots of ways to actually knock these people out. But it's like Squid Game. Like where you actually kill these people.
Oh my god. Well, I was not going to go quite to that level. I was wondering if this becomes like, in this culture, you must pass this trial to get married because otherwise you're not truly a good fit for each other.
I suppose we could take from real life then, find the marriage trials that we all go through. I was just trying to bring a bit of fantasy in.
I don't think anyone's made a game about those traditional marriage trials that we all go through.
Yeah.
Is that just an Australian thing, or do they have?
No, it's a worldwide thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Australia obviously is a little bit different because you got to deal with the drop bears and hoop snakes and all those sort of things. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I should have known that because I got married in Canada. I thought maybe just because I brought it up that we did it there and everyone went along with it, but it was a bit different there because we didn't.
You didn't have the traditional drop bears, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it a bit hard.
No, there were just cougars and tiny mooses.
When you said cougars, I'm thinking there were a lot of there were a lot of like mature
older women. Yeah. There's they just get free rein for any grooms. You have to dodge them.
It's basically they're just trying to cling on to any potential suitors whose partner didn't make it through the trials.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And so we can bring that into our game too.
Yeah, okay. I like that. They're very Canadian. Cougars.
Yeah.
Cool. I love this. I really do. You could have this as, you get it's a multiplayer game where you automatically get assigned a 2-player group. You can either go in with a party or you can go fill, and it'll just fill in your partner. And obviously, the only way to win is for you and your partner to make it through and get married.
Yes. So I think it's almost a way to meet new people.
Yeah.
Because if you get through it, then that actually shows like you may have some compatibility with this rando.
And
or at least the person they're pretending to be on the internet. Yeah, so I mean, this could almost be a like a dating app.
Yeah, and then people don't look so surprised when we have them fill out that whole dating profile at the start, getting all that juicy information, so we can sell. Well,
potentially, I think maybe you ask them information that it's going to be relevant to the games, right? Because I'm thinking you've got almost games like what's the wedding game? Like the old game show they used to have. What's it called? Where you have to guess what the other person's going to guess. No, the one where you have to guess.
Yes.
It had a name.
Newlywed Game.
Newlywed Game. Yeah. I feel like it's those sorts of things. I wonder how we can we riff off of that to come up with those sorts of ideas where it's essentially yeah, if you match with someone, it means you have similar ways of thinking.
Yeah, I think you've got one of those sort of rounds. Like that's the thinking challenge, and then you got a physical challenge, and that physical challenge being an actual Fall Guys-esque level.
Yeah,
and then you go back into the thinking challenge again.
Nobody wants to marry someone with poor hand-eye coordination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you want to know that you're compatible.
I think you go into something that's going to like give an idea of whether your values are compatible.
Yeah.
Around politics without actually asking political questions.
Oh, I'm just imagining how much juicy information we could get out of people and sell it off to other people. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, that's definitely
that's the back end. That's where we make all.
We
the money.
sell it to companies that do like phishing scams and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what they all do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, what's your, we ask what your mother's maiden name is, what street you were born on, and that sort of thing. And if it's the same as someone else, then you go, oh, that's a coincidence. That must mean you're compatible. You had the same pet's name.
Oh, look, your bank accounts are very similar in amount.
It's like how it's like how Batman and Superman would have been able to get into each other's accounts because they're both their mum's mother.
Yeah. Mothers have the same name.
Yeah, because that standard question of what's your mother's first name.
Yes. No, in this world we don't ever talk about maiden names. It's just your mother's first name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the fantasy comes in.
Yes, so fantasy.
Oh god, 3 to 1 quick.
Yeah.
Puck.
Eating.
Okay, food hockey.
Yep. Okay, love it.
What's the puck? Is it like
it's a risol.
Burger?
It's a burger or a risol.
Yeah, like just a patty though.
Just a patty. Like, oh, you're heating it over like the barbecue to like get it cooked up.
Oh, the goals are grills.
Yes.
So when it's not a net that's open. It's just like a grill tipped up vertically behind the goalie. So when you hit it into it, it splats onto the grill and starts cooking.
Yeah.
So your puck is a raw hamburger patty.
It starts off raw. It's not raw for very long.
Not if you're good at the game.
Not if you're good at the game, exactly. But of course, a goal is you only get the goal when it's perfectly cooked. So your goalie's got to basically be able to, slide it off and flip it over and get it back on. But because right. I'm literally saying that the goalie just has a barbecue mate.
Yeah. Barbie mate and tongs.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Okay, rather than being ice hockey, I'm thinking this is more like lacrosse.
Okay, yeah.
Because...
Yeah. So rather than sliding across the ground, you're kind of throwing it from Barbie mate to Barbie mate.
Basically, yeah.
You got to catch it or in the tongs.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful because earlier on in the game, when it's not as cooked, it's going to just fall apart if you don't get a good catch.
Oh, definitely.
You're going to lose mass.
But even then, if it's cooked for too long, it's too dry and it's going to fall apart like crazy.
Oh,
Because I think this is one of the craziest things about it. You got to be very careful because if it gets locked into the a certain section of the barbecue.
Yeah,
you activate multi-ball or multi-patty.
I was going to say multi-ball, yeah.
And so
multi-puck.
Then basically you've got lots of patties going out everywhere, and that's when shit gets dangerous. That shit can end up in your
just
eye.
Just wads of ground beef,
yeah.
Wads of raw mince. You'll also there's bacteria that. Could definitely form if you're just throwing raw meat everywhere.
Especially, if you want a binder to actually, bind that meat together, quite often people use eggs, and they have salmonella in them. The salmonella, that shit's bad. Gets in your eyes, you lose your mind.
No, it's no good. It's no good. I wonder if rather than rather than the... As hilarious as it is with the image of the grill in the net, I wonder if you're actually, the things you catch it in are heated. If they're cooking it in some way.
Yeah.
So it's more about how long you hold on to it for.
But
on each side.
when there's a timeout, you get to put your Barbie mate in the coals to get it all heated
right,
up.
to get it all
Barbie
heated
mates.
up. Yeah. It's got to be Barbie,
Yeah.
for sure. Because then it's about, like you've got it, it's at 87% cooked on this side and 42% cooked on the other side. But the only way you can flip it between sides is to pass it.
Yeah.
Which is going to give your opponent the ability to intercept.
I mean, you can pass it to yourself, but in order for it to be considered a pass, it has to go at least 5 meters.
Right, so you can launch it up in the air, run and catch it.
Yeah.
But it's a risky move.
It's a very risky move because it's kind of like in Rocket League, you know how you're looking up at the ball and you can't see what's in front of you? I mean, that's basically the move that you're making.
Yeah.
Unless you're really good at it, you can kind of listen for it, sizzling in the air, and then you go, okay, and blip, and you put it out, and it's like, oh, damn, caught it on the same side again. Like...
There's definitely a sound element to it, with the sizzling.
So obviously,
and then I think
with your Barbie mate, you have to also keep it oiled up, because otherwise that patty's going to stick to it. Like
right.
So
and then you can't hold it for too long because there's also a shot clock basically.
Yeah, it's a I think it's what, a 5-second shot clock.
Yeah, like traveling.
Yeah,
traveling with the patty.
Now it's like basketball or football rules in which every step that you take, you have to like bounce it.
You have to bounce the patty. Or pass it,
or pass it. So it's kind of like netball that you can catch it and you got to stop dead and then you can flick it off to someone else.
That's maybe better, because I think it's got to be more about the passing.
Yeah.
But if you can't move with it, but that's a strategy because sometimes you do want to stand still to let it cook on that side some more.
Exactly.
Because you can't actually get a goal with it until it's like close to 100% cooked.
Yeah,
on each side.
I mean, literally on each end of the field, you've got guys waiting with
buns,
burger buns, and ready to take a bite because
they're on your team.
They're on your team.
I was going to say they're on your team because they're catching it in the bun.
They're catching it in the bun, and then they're
catching it in
it.
the bun.
If they eat all of it, then you get a goal. That's the only way of getting.
If they enjoy it and they don't get sick and have food poisoning.
And thing is,
after each goal, they have to stop for about 3 hours just to wait and see.
I think you can play the entire game out. If they want to eat raw patties and all this sort of stuff, that's fine. But for the next 48 hours,
they're going to be knocked out next matches.
They will be analysed, and if they end up in hospital, if they
you lose the game.
You lose the game
after it ends.
So,
what if both play? Like, is it who loses the most players?
Whoever loses the most players, or whoever is the most sick. If they.
Right.
And then that's a volume calculation of how much fluid they lost.
They have to capture it. They capture every drop.
That's because they get taken into a they get put into lockdown for the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
Like
these are committed athletes.
I mean, this is like all sports, and it means that, I think it's kind of like baseball in the United States, how there's like lots of games a week. So you've got to have lots of different goalies because they will be in lockdown while...
you've got to cycle through them.
You've got to cycle through them, yeah.
For sure. Well, and I love then the idea that spectators will come to the game, but they will not know if their team has actually won for 48 hours.
Yeah. And yes, they do
They're
get to
watching
leave.
The internet, they're refreshing the page.
Yep.
Yeah, no. The spectators don't have to stay.
No.
But it's sort of that added tension. Because it's still...
Unless one of them catches a burger in their buns.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get locked down as well.
Yes, of course. Does that count as a goal then?
Because I was actually thinking if they're one of your supporters.
Because I was actually thinking that they get to choose who the goal tip goes to.
Yeah, basically if they're wearing your colours.
Because then they could be tricky. They could, like, if they catch one and it turns out that it's raw, they can eat it and say, yeah, this is for the tight team that they actually don't like, and it'll forfeit that goal.
And because I
was actually thinking that what it needs to be, rather than there needs to be a penalty, because like if one team manages to get like 20 burgers in a match and one of them is bad, they shouldn't have to lose the whole game. Like, they should still win if the other team only got like 2.
Yeah, it depends.
So I think it needs maybe like a 4 burger penalty or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Per
vom.
Per litre of... It's a 1 burger penalty per litre of vom. A vom litre.
And if it ends up coming out the other side, that's, 1 burger
that's
penalty
half.
per.
I mean, that's only half. I mean, because a little bit of loose is not necessarily indicative of it being bad. Like, if this goalie eats 20 burgers, they're gonna have some digestive issues. You can't count that, even if they're perfectly cooked.
True. Okay, so we've talked about the things that we're definitely allowing in this game.
Yeah, in this new sport that's taking over the nation.
We do actually allow multi paddies on the field at once. Only if they get locked
only one
in.
Selma though.
See what you did there. Very well done. Okay, so multi paddy is one of the things. Obviously,
now what
Selma.
about condiments? Condiments. And other toppings. I guess. But at the very least, I feel like even if you're just having a burger on a bun, it needs condiments.
It needs condiments of some description. I think that is up to the discretion of the venue that actually hosts the game. Basically, they've got little condiment spots all over the field, and that's additional things that you can be passing around. But if you're passing condiments, then you can't be catching the paddy.
Yeah, so maybe it's sort of like the defense. Like, the defense handles condiments, and the offense is handling the paddy. Like, you've got different positions, right?
Well, I think you could actually have, different people in your team specifically on condiment duty, trying to get those condiments down into the burger patty, into the burger buns,
into the bun. Yeah,
but it can only be there for a short amount of time, so they've got to time it right. Because it'll get
soggy and gross.
Exactly.
Like, you got to. Yeah. Basically, they go through a lot of buns. Because, if the condiments have been sitting there on the bun for too long, they have to throw that bun out and start over, and then the condiment crew has to start over too.
So this is how the sport works. How does the video game version of this work?
I mean, it's just as faithful a recreation as possible. You know, like something like, John Madden, is that the guy?
Yeah,
NFL 2K or whatever,
or netball 2K, 2K23.
Yeah,
the famous netball game that people have created.
Like the game that I'm sure is coming out, women's soccer.
Yes,
2K23. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just as faithful a recreation. We've got all the teams.
WFC 23. Yep.
Women's Football Club? What?
Oh, you obviously haven't heard about this. It's no longer FIFA, it's FC now.
Oh,
because
really?
FIFA were basically trying to gouge EA for using the FIFA license.
Oh,
so they're
see.
like,
the game is FC.
Fuck you, we're calling it FC. So it's WFC 23 is the women's version, which obviously should be coming out, but it's not.
So ours is the Food League.
Yeah.
So we have the
FL.
AFL, the Australian Food League.
Yes. 23. Yeah.
We have all of the teams.
Yes.
We have the Melbourne Melts.
Yes.
We have the Sydney sliders.
Oh, yeah. Brisbane burgers.
We have the Brisbane burgers, of course. We have the West Australian Wendy's. They're sponsored by Wendy's. The Australian Wendy's.
The Australian Wendy's. Wendy's milk bar,
which is weird because they're more
they don't do burgers. They do hot dogs.
Yeah.
And now donuts for some fucking reason.
I mean, they're diversifying, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'll always remember them for their ice cream and their thick shakes.
I will always remember them for the iceberg, which used to be my go-to, which is... Do you know what an iceberg is?
No.
Slushy mixture with a big ass fuck off, dollop
scoop of
ice cream, like soft serve. And oh my god,
that sounds
it's
weird.
Sugary as all fuck.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
It was so good.
I used to go for their mega shakes with they'd break up essentially like a whole chocolate bar.
Yeah. For those people who aren't in Australia and missing out, our Wendy's is so different to
it's
American.
It's a completely different company.
Supposedly, American Wendy's is coming to Australia, so that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be confusing.
We don't have enough burger joints anyway.
And the Northern Territory Nando's, another sponsored one.
What about Canberra or ACT?
ACT gets a food starting with A. I mean, it doesn't have to be alliteration. They're still figuring out their team.
Yeah, they're just called the ACT.
Yeah,
no one ever plays them. It's full
they
of
just play
politicians.
themselves. Yeah,
that's about all the time that we have for tonight.
It is. So thank you for joining us. If you'd like to find all of our previous episodes online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm, listen to them there, review them, and tell us what South Australia's team name is in the Australian Food League.
For those who really enjoy the song that we play at the start and the end, that song is called Mount Defiance, off of the album Containment Failure by the band Kuradust. You can find it at kuradust.bandcamp.com for free. Download it. Listen to it. Let us know what you think. Review it on podchaser.com.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And I realised we went from capital cities to state names. So Darwin Donuts, Perth Pierogies, and Adelaide Anchovies.
Yay.
And the Canberra Cunts. Just in Parliament House.